What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today when I talk to you about Lucid, I want to go over some of the current data points and spend some time talking about the questions that retail is potentially going to pose to management. So I'm going to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, Lucid is pulling back 2.5%, kind of high volume. So the market's been open roughly around 25 minutes, 2.6 million shares being traded, 34 is the average. Regrettably, you're not seeing that much institutions paying attention to it all that much. So only one transaction first thing for 650,000, and it was a sell. So not necessarily the best. No actual news from the company, no SEC filings, but the opportunity for us to pose questions did open yesterday, 22nd at 2:30 Pacific. So I wanted to go over some of the questions and my kind of thoughts on them, but I'll kind of cap off the video with that. Right now, shorts are increasing 1.15 million shares. So 27.66% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 244.95 million shares overall are being shorted. So Tesla does have their earnings coming out after hours today. And no doubtably, whatever happens to Tesla, similar to the past, good, bad, and the ugly, it does trickle down to the other EVs. So anticipate a lot of volatility. And right now, Tesla is pulling back, last minute jitters, coming from clearly institutions and just retail. And as a byproduct, that is what is causing Lucid to go down, because there's no real kind of justified reason why Lucid is down as much as it is today. So when it comes down to options, though, I just want to quickly bring this up, even though only 30 minutes kind of data that we have. So 35,000 in calls, 22,000 in puts. Sentiment wise, 46% of all the options being done so far are bearish. And just to give you an overview of the open interest. So for this upcoming Friday, so July the 26th, you do see 4,000 in open interest at that $3 strike price, 9,000 at that $3.50, 9,000 at that $4. And just to encumber their earnings, which is on the 5th, so July the 9th expiry date, you do see a consensus for it to be roughly around $4. So nothing really crazy, no massive optimism, which is what I find very weird. So with Lucid doing all this marketing, it would be really dumb for them to come out and massively miss on their earnings. So I think there's a lot of indications that their numbers and metrics, key metrics, are going to be relatively good. I'm going to do a dedicated video closer to that date all about that. But one thing, speaking of Q2 and a good transition point, is this. So Lucid Group Q2 2024 earnings Q&A. So this is one of the 4 opportunities that retail does have every year to pose questions to management. And they typically answer roughly about 3 to 5 questions, depending on how bad they feel for us. And I guess also how easy the questions are. So I want to go over this. As of right now, I don't believe it's kind of sorted based on recommended. Normally it's by votes, or I think it's by shares represented. That's what they go based off of. But needless to say, I'm going to go over this. So let's see. Okay, I'll go over this question because I actually like this question. So Nadeem said, if and when will Lucid look to expand into Europe and the UK, where there is a growing demand for premium EVs? Very good question, because I think in general, that's what a lot of investors, not just with Lucid, but with NIO, like if you listen to their earnings, same with Rivian, a lot of people want to know about expansion. So I think that is a very good question. The rest of the questions, I don't know. To be fully honest, I'm very disappointed, but is it true that Nissan has invested with Lucid? So I don't know why people always seem to kind of group Nissan with any EV, like Nissan and Fisker. Especially ever since Fisker went belly up, a lot of people are just now, hey, Lucid and Fisker are basically the same, and Nissan was going to invest in Fisker, so why not Lucid? This is completely out of left field, and Peter will definitely not be able to answer this, plain as day. And then this one right here. So this one's talking ultimately about profitability. Also, this question right here, there's another question right here. Can you share the company's forecasted path to profitability? Like, come on, man. Why are we wasting? And the thing is, why are 51 people voting for this? So I did a video under my dedicated Lucid channel, and I even said, just throwing it out there, these questions right here cannot, like, no, this is completely speculation, but Lucid management or their employees must be planting these questions and maybe upvoting or something like that, because this is the stupidest question to ask every single time. Peter has done numerous interviews, podcasts, and they talk on profitability. The midsize SUV is the path to profitability. Like, what the hell are people wasting like this? Why are 50,000 equivalent shares voted for this question? Same goes for this. Why is 1.6 million shares represented based on this? This single-handedly, Paul, I don't know Paul, essentially. Doesn't ring a bell based on previous questions, but I don't know. Is that Lucid employees? Because this type of question is very low-hanging fruit for management just to simply answer and give pretty much what they were answering during like the Evercore summit. Like, all these things they've already answered. This one right here, are rumors about Hyundai's interest in purchasing Lucid true? This one, I think it's bad wording. I get it could be better kind of worded for the most part, but I get their mentality. Peter, like, I don't know. The thing is, you have to ask questions operational, like ESS type of questions, or this question right here, expansion. Very good question by Nadeem at first. Everything else is just, I have no idea what the hell are we asking. This one, Malcolm, like, come on. My shares have lost 91% of their value since I bought them, and what are you going to do about it? Like, what the fuck? And why is 136,000 shares represented based on this? Which 104 people are voting for this? Have they not participated? If you're down 91%, clearly you've been in it for several years, because you would know that this same version of this question has been asked in the last several questions, or last several earnings. And they basically say, hey, we have no control over the stock price. We do what we want operationally, and we're doing everything to the best of our ability. So why are people wasting even votes on any of these questions? It does not make sense by any means. And this, see, again, this is all speculation, but what will be the next target of Lucid? 81 votes, 76,000 shares represented. This, honestly, I don't know. This is too much, and I think right now this earnings is a very strong pivot, and we have a very rare opportunity for us as retail to get the necessary questions that we want. This seems like a planted question, same as many of the other ones out there. So I don't know. It's very, very frustrating, and I think this is ultimately why this single-handedly is a very good representation of why retail, primarily retail-driven stocks, always suck. Because retail cannot be organized to put forth even like good questions. So I don't know. This is a very frustrating part, and yeah, so it is what it is. At this stage, I would recommend some stuff, but typically whatever is asked and submitted during day one is typically what is asked during the actual earnings. So it's just crappy. Hopefully this question does get asked by Nadeem, but I think it's being sorted based on recommendation, not top voted. So this one's top, and yeah, so I think, does Lucid have any plans to introduce a more affordable EV to broaden its? They're just going to say midsize SUV late 2026. This, not like, I cannot be more disappointed by any of these questions. So yeah, I think all in all, we just have to hope that Peter willingly comes out and volunteers information during the earnings, because clearly none of this is going to be one of those times that they ask or answer 7 questions, because they will feel bad for us. I can almost guarantee that. So let me know your thoughts on these questions. Like I said, this was our one opportunity, and it's weird because Tesla and Rivian are kind of focusing on ESS. I think even Rivian calls it BSS or BESS or whatever it is. But why aren't we asking questions for ESS? Does nobody have, or is everyone just new investors? They don't realize that Lucid has at least 2 prototypes for ESS. It's not necessarily like, what kind of fucking question is this? Pardon my French. How do you go from $26 to $3? Come on, Tony. 21 votes. Like 10,000 shares represented based on this. What the fuck are people even thinking? Like, what type of question is this? How is this even feasible to be submitted? I don't know. Once again, not necessarily the most, I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is at this stage. Let me know your thoughts. As of right now, with it at 355, so it is recovering slightly since me ranting. So with it at 355, it is trading between this S1 and the pivot. So 343 is a strong support, and then 372 is a strong resistance. As of the last several trading days, it hasn't really touched neither of them. So kind of just watch for both of those, and hopefully it seems to be recovering fairly well right now, similar to Tesla. So we'll just have to wait and see what does come. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. If you did pose any questions that you'd like me to really push out, put the links in the comments. I can definitely review them, and I will do the best of my ability on all of my socials and whatever. I'll put forth those questions so we get good answers. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, and with that, appreciate all of you watching.